Okay, so I think most of us can agree that the fact that the Memento backpack is one of the best exotic backpack or one of the best backpacks in general, right? The backpack itself gives you a lot for your build, but the most important in my case, in my opinion, is the fact that it gives you that survivability with that armor regen. Now that said though, many people still don't have that backpack because they are new players or return players, and I get a lot of these questions on my videos: what other backpack can I substitute for that Memento backpack? With all that combined, I did put this thing together to show you guys that there is other ways that you can make a build involved around having a good survivability, but do not miss so much of that damage. And on top of that, the good point about this build is that the fact that you don't have to go pick up any trophies like you have to do with the Memento backpack. With all that said though, this is a good build for a solo new player where you can have all of this survivability and still have some damage to be able to do any activity solo. So the build is going to be this one right here. This build is actually pretty simple. It has one brand set and one gear set. So starting with the gear set, we have the Striker Battle Gear, and this one right here is going to be basically all of the damage that we're going to be doing on this build. Striker Battle Gear, by equipping 2 pieces, you gain 15% weapon handling. For the new players, if you don't know, weapon handling is reload speed, accuracy, and stability, all of them included inside of weapon handling. So if I have 15% weapon handling, that means 15% for all 3 of these. Going back to that Striker gear set, by equipping a 3rd piece, you gain 15% rate of fire. Now on the 4th piece, once you equip that, you gain the talent Striker's Gamble, which means once you get 100 stacks of the Striker Battle Gear, you will gain 65% of damage to your gun. Now just keep in mind, you will be losing stacks per second depending how many stacks you have if you are not shooting your enemies. So for the Striker, I have the mask, which has core attribute weapon damage with attribute crit chance and a mod of crit chance. I have a glove with core attribute weapon damage and attribute crit damage. I have some knee pads with core attribute weapon damage and attribute crit damage. And last but not least, on the holster we have core attribute weapon damage with a mod of crit damage. So that's the Striker Battle Gear set. Now moving on, for the brand set on this build, we have the Bellstone Armory. Now the reason why I went with this brand set is because this is where I'm gonna get all of my survivability, if you want to put it like that. I'll get the armor regen from this, the armor on kill from this, and the bonus armor from this, which is gonna be the perfect talent that's gonna be on the backpack. And speaking of that, so this backpack, it's called the Liquid Engineer. So this is a name item that can only come from the Bellstone Armory, and from it has this talent, which is the perfect Bloodsucker. Killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of 12% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Maximum stack is 10, so you can get up to 120% bonus armor on this build technically, right? And not only that, on top of it, because like I said, we are using the Bellstone Armory, 2 of them in this build, we gain 1% armor regen and 10% armor on kill. Now with that amount of armor, right, 1.1 million armor, we do get 111,000 armor on kill and 20,000 armor regen. Now both of those don't sound like a lot, but remember I said that we do not want to lose the damage, so that's why I didn't go a lot more on armor on kill. Now going back to this backpack, right, we have it with core attribute armor, like I said, attribute armor regen in here maxed out, and 6% crit chance. And also we do have a mod in here which is another 6% crit chance. Moving for the chest piece, it's gonna be about the same thing, core attribute armor regen in here with a crit damage attribute and a 6% crit chance mod. Now the talent in here on the chest piece will be the Obliterated. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. It's a pretty simple, pretty easy talent that I always like to use on the chest piece because I have a weapon that shoots fast and also has a lot of crit chance, which I'm gonna be proccing this talent quite a lot. And speaking of weapons, so let's take a look at what I'm running. So I have the Police M4 and the Emily's Guard on the secondary. Now for the primary, the Police M4, this is one of my favorite ARs in the game, and this one comes with a base damage of 44.2k per bullet. The RPM, because it's on this build, is 978. The base RPM though is only 850. The mag size is 50 after modded. The base mag is 30 on the mag. Now I do have this weapon on expertise level 20, which is another plus 20 weapon damage added to it. And then core attributes, obviously we have assault rifle damage and health damage. And then attributes, it's what I always recommend, damage to target out of cover. The talent here though, we choose to go with a flatline. Amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulse enemies. After 3 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy you hit. Now there is one way that we're gonna be activating this talent at all time, which is gonna be on the mods. And the mod that we're gonna be using is gonna be right here on the underbarrel. This mod is called the Linked Laser Pointer, and basically what this does is every time you aim at an enemy with this mod, that enemy will be considered pulsed. So we can have the pulse activated at all time, which is gonna activate our weapon talent, the flatline. Now the way to unlock this Linked Laser Pointer mod, you need to equip the Technician specialization, and basically that's the only reason we are running this specialization in here. Now going back to the rest of the mods on this weapon, we have a 5% crit chance on the scope, another 5% crit chance on the muzzle, and last but not least that plus 20 rounds on the magazine. Now last but not least, on the skills, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you want to throw in here, it's your choice. Usually I go with the Striker Drone because this allows me to kind of distract my enemies and do some damage, and also the holographic distractor decoy, while this does, you know, what it says. It's just a decoy to distract the enemy. Last but not least, taking a look at the stats of this weapon. So on this Police M4 we have 97,000 weapon damage, and then 50% crit chance, 93% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, 21% health damage, and there is that 10% damage to target out of cover that does not show in here on the weapon stats. So yeah, that's it. That's the build that I have for you guys, and like I said, this is a build that it's for you guys that does not have the Memento backpack, or you just don't like the Memento backpack but you would like to have a similar approach that the Memento gives to your builds. And this build can be very good also, right? So it's a very good build and you do not have to go with a Memento backpack. So that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, a like on it would be super appreciated. Comment down below what you guys think of this build. If you want to support even further on the channel, become a member by joining the channel. If you're new, subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care everybody.